let it in the way. Battling, having got in way of the attempted clearance. Jim Gannon. Oh, great flick on by Alan Armstrong.
It's against Bradford, but here's Warburton!
Yes!
Oh! And then trying to manufacture the shot, gets it away, it's there!
Not got it clear. Please, sir! It's a cracker!
Running Armstrong, played in again, and a superb goal!
Tony Goody! Stockport County are the champions of League Two.
Good evening and welcome to the Scarf Bagara War, a Stockport County podcast for fans, for county fans, by county fans. So I get that in there in partnership with Edgeley Conservative Club Coaches. What a week, mate. What a week.
I am knackered. I am absolutely shattered. I tell you what, how people work full time, I do not know.
Full time.
I've done 6 hours today, and that's overtime. No, in fairness though, gardening or any sort of labouring kind of manual labour, it's tough going. Yeah, I've spent 3 days scarifying lawns, and it's hard work. I wouldn't mind, but I'm not even the one scarifying. I'm the guy raking up the moss afterwards, and I've got blisters all over my hands. It's just... Anyway, apart from that, I'm all good.
Good.
You all right?
Yeah, talking about hard work and scraping off moss. I don't know where the scraping off moss comes from. Yeah.
I wonder where this is going.
We've got some explaining to do, it feels like. Cheers to everybody that's joined us live. Cheers to everybody that subscribed, liked, everything like that. Please do give the video a like. If you're on Facebook, come over to YouTube and watch it there. Watch us live there. Yeah, we wanted to address some things. I mean, I put a tweet out on Saturday, got 3.8 million views. Cheers to Kevin Richardson for the video. I literally just posted his video, the video of his TV. He did message back and say he's quite happy and glad that his TV has been seen 3.8 million times. Which is quite impressive, really, that, isn't it? So that was good. And we lost at Wrexham. We'll talk about Wrexham shortly. It is on the agenda. But we've got to say, there's a few things we've got to say, really, in the end, and we'll go through. We've got a fan guest coming on. Ellis is coming on shortly, but we've tried to clear a few things up. We've had a load of messages, fucking shitload of messages, about Jimmy wearing a Wrexham scarf on the Courtyard Club call. Jimmy's very sorry about that. And we've spoken to Jimmy, and he's going to receive a Cantona-style ban from podcasting. He's not really. But
no, he is. Yeah. But it's best bloody had.
Yeah, it was misjudged, so we say. But we love Jimmy, and he'll still be on the Courtyard Club call. The other one though, Rolo, was for charity. He didn't lose a bet. None of that. I don't know where that's come from. Didn't lose a bet. It was for charity. He's got good friends who are from Wrexham and obviously they wear Wrexham stuff. But they said,
sorry to interrupt. Hasn't he got family? It's family, isn't it?
Yeah.
So something's had a bet between them in bet, I think, if I'm right. And that's why he's worn it. But at the end of the day, yes, would a Wrexham shirt on a county podcast, but it's for charity.
I know.
So you can. I know. And then on that note, just in case Rolo and Jimmy are watching, I'm just going to put on my county scarf just in case they've forgotten
what one looks
colours.
like.
Yeah. So for the audio listeners, Jimmy, Rolo, this is a county scarf.
There we go.
This is the only kind of merch you should be wearing other than your county tops as well. So,
Correct.
But we love you, Jimmy. Yeah, you're banned.
Yeah, and we love Rolo as well. Yeah.
Do we? Do we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah, he raises a lot of money for charity, doesn't he? But yeah,
He does,
so
he does,
yeah. So yeah, that's just Jimmy and Rolo. That's the Wrexham thing put to bed. I think they did say on the show as well for those that listen. But it gets clipped on it, and then all of a sudden it goes to wildfire. And actually, first time for this podcast in 10 years, you've seen review YouTube videos, haven't you? Our review got reviewed by a Wrexham podcast in Australia. They clipped us and did a reaction to it, which I thought was weird. Anyway, there's a couple of other things as well. Well, no, one more thing. We've got, honestly, right, it's been a bit of a record-breaking weekend for us as a podcast because we've had loads of messages off Wrexham fans saying they didn't like the Courtyard Club call and didn't like the tweet about the penalty. Well, fucking good, because it's not for you. So we're Stockport County, and we'll say it from our point of view. We'll be balanced. Of course, you'll hear it be balanced on this show tonight, but they recorded the Courtyard Club call on a Sunday night. Everything's still raw, so totally backing him on that. You're going to get blood and thunder from us. We're not going to let you tickle our tummies or pat us on the head. So soz. But honestly, loads, Andy. Look, I like loads. I'm talking.
Whoa! No, don't put a soz in there. That sounds like no, not at all. At the end of the day, I totally agree. Our podcast is for our county fans, not for Wrexham fans. If you want a Courtyard Club call, do a Wrexham version and speak about what you want to speak about. I've seen another comment actually this week that said, talk about a biased rundown of a game, and I think it was aimed at Jimmy. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute. How can any Wrexham fan say that we were biased against our own team? I'm pretty sure every fan is going to be more biased towards their own team than. And one thing I will say is, out of everybody on this podcast, Jimmy is probably by far the least biased out of us all. Honestly, the amount of, isn't he? Out of all the discussions that me and Jimmy have had, I wear blue tinted glasses. You're a little bit more neutral, aren't you, Russ? Me and Waggy, I think, are more
balanced, rational, maybe. Yeah.
Me and Waggy are probably more blue tinted glasses than most. But me and Jimmy have had not arguments because we get on, but heated discussions about one thing I'll say, and Jimmy just totally disagrees because he's favouring the other team. So, you can call him a lot of things about wearing a scarf and all that, but biased, you can't call him that at all.
No. And there's already calls for Jimmy to be freed from his ban. Love it. So that was that. I'm sure these little things will come up. Get your thoughts in the comments. Whether you agree with. I mean, we don't agree with wearing opposition scarves. Let's just put that on the table now. But whether you agree in the way that it's been conducted and stuff, there's a few comments coming in already, and do get involved in the chat as we go along. So tonight, then we've got a fan guest. We're going to get him out. Going to get him out dead soon. We're going to talk about losing at Wrexham and go into that game. Probably not for the majority of the show because it's already been done by the Courtyard Club call and it's been done to death by everybody else. We've got Burton next. We haven't got an opposition preview today. I'm going to try and find one before the end of the week, but I'm not feeling confident about that. We're going to have a quick chat about the season tickets because it's getting to that time now. Brought to our attention. Can we have a chat about that and sort of options for season tickets? Monthly payments, that kind of thing. We'll have a quick chat about Benno's brace versus Scotland under 21s. Of course, Get In't Rezzers. But first, shall we get our fan guest out?
Yeah, but can I take the scarf off because it's absolutely red hot up here.
Boiling. So you're in an attic, aren't you? So yeah, it's going to be boiling.
Yeah.
Right. See you in a minute.
Now then, man. How are we?
All right, yeah. How are you? This is already. This is going to be funny. Well, how are you, Ellis?
Yeah, I'm sound. You up?
Oh, I can't get it. That's the first sentence I've ever heard you say without a swear word in it.
Well, there's always a first for something, isn't there?
Fucking great, isn't it?
Just
I
a
love
bit.
it. So, Ellis, let's go through your fan questions because it is your debut. When, if you can remember this stuff, when was your first game?
The first game that I do remember was Stockport versus Darlington, 1-1 when we were in National League North. That was the first game that I actually went to with my mum because she used to actually take me instead of my dad. And then got that from free tickets from school. Stopped going regularly because my dad was playing football at the time, still playing. Don't know how, considering his knees were absolutely messed up. Then when he stopped playing football and he says that he apparently retired, we then started going, and then we came back and we watched us versus Grimsby when it was a 0-0. And then we started going back regularly.
When was that? 0-0 against Grimsby.
That was National League season when we went up, just before
Right.
Bolton.
Do you only watch North East teams?
North East, yeah.
First game Darlington, next game Grimsby.
Well, I mean, I didn't really decide to pick. I mean, I sort of the Grimsby one. I sort of looked at it and I was like, yeah, why not? Let's go back to that one. And then the one with Darlington, I can't really argue with my school when I was about like in year 6, can I? So I can't really change that factor about it.
Yeah, get some free tickets and the back and go.
No, of course.
Have you got FC United at home? So I don't know, whatever it was at the time.
They told me to bugger off.
Good stuff. And what's your favourite game you've been to?
Favourite game was probably us versus Sutton at home when I was a ball boy for that one, when we won 8-0. Unfortunately, when I was actually being a ball boy, after the first goal, I ended up breaking the chair, considering them little stools aren't made for year-olds that are built like a double-decker bus.
Yeah. Who was you playing for when you was ball boy?
I was with Stockport County Football Education. They ended up they ended up getting a few lads to do that. So I looked at that and I was like, yeah, why not? I'll give it a go. It ended up when we were about 6-0, one of their players ended up having a go at me because I weren't giving them the ball quick enough. But realistically, it was 6-0. You're not going to come back from it, are you?
Fair dues, yeah. No. Good stuff. And then favourite goal?
Favourite goal was Louis Barry versus Crawley in the 23-24 season when he hit that rocket on his right boot and ended up flying into the top left, right in front of the Cheadle end.
Yeah, remember it. Good goal. And finally, favourite player?
My favourite player was actually Paul Turnbull, who also works at the football education now. Reason why it's because he was just a rock, wasn't he? He just you could just rely him on anything. He was a brilliant player, so that's what I'm going to go for.
Nice,
proper leader, wasn't he? Turnbull.
Aye, therefore.
Yeah, and so you're in the Stockport County football education program now, are you? And
yep.
do you see Bully much?
Yeah. He's I think he stepped down from the scholars. I'm not 100% sure, but he's currently working with our top group at the moment. With another one of our coaches, Rick. Very good side, knows what he wants him to do, and to be fair, their midfield is practically like a rock, like he was.
Nice, yeah. And do you see Rainsy? Rainsy's part of it. I mean, leads the football education element, doesn't he?
Rainsy, yeah, I see him a fair few. I see him a lot of times. Normally, it's either him shouting at somebody or him probably watching a game, as usual. But yeah, I see him out and about.
Yeah. Well, I've spoke to Rainsy in here, and he definitely knows you. So
that's not really hard, considering how loud I talk. I mean, I think everybody can hear me from Werner Flow.
Favourite present player, Ellis?
Pardon?
Present player. Like
present? I'll probably have to go for either Ben or Ethan Pye. Ben, because I mean, again, first picture I actually took with a county player was Ben. So I've known what he's like for a long time, and obviously he's a class goalkeeper, part of the goalkeepers union, obviously. And I can't really disagree with anything that anybody says about him because he's just that class. And then Ethan Pye, he is literally like a brick wall in it. Like it's hard to get past him, and he's just brilliant. Simple.
Yeah. Gets better with every game. And we quickly now we spoke to Mike Flynn, didn't we? Monday night. I had an interview with Mike Flynn in front of a live audience, and he said he coached Ethan Pye. He just said he's but he didn't. These aren't his words, but he's mega, basically, did he?
Well, he basically said that he's like a sponge.
Yeah.
So every bit of information, advice, coaching, everything, he just soaks up, and he'll then apply that into his next performance. And he did say he does make mistakes. All players make mistakes, but he'll do his damned hardest to make sure they're not the same mistakes. And whilst we're on that subject, what a night that was. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you for everyone that attended. It was a brilliant night. And yeah, it's patrons will get it soon, aren't they, Russ?
They will. They're going to get it very soon. And yeah, be out as an audio podcast, probably first 10 minutes for everybody else. But yeah, patrons will be getting that very, very soon. Right. Shall we chat about the Wrexham game then? And how we saw that going down. Me and Ellis went. Andy, you didn't. Should we talk about the big talking point to start with? The handball that wasn't handball, and yes, there was a penalty appeal before that. Jesus Christ! I think I've lived through every minute of the game via Wrexham fans since it.
It feels like that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Jesus. But yeah, Ellis, come to you first. I mean, we were stood sort of 2 seats away from each other.
Yep.
I mean, did you even see it? I mean, I know I didn't.
I was looking at it, and I seen obviously Ibu go up for it, James McLean go up for it, and I obviously from the distance where you were, you couldn't really see much of it, and then you obviously seen straight away run over to the liner, and liner shit himself as per, and decided to bring over the referee and then give it. But I mean, now I've watched it back, I mean, you can clearly see the push in the back. I mean, come on, man, it's obvious. I mean, there's literally a full-on hand on his back, and then he's pushed it in. And realistically, right, even if his hand's up there, yeah, his hand's up there because he's appealing for a foul. That's why. He's not doing it out of like, oh, yeah, why not let me just stick my hand up for no reason. No, he's appealing for a foul because realistically, it is a foul.
Yeah. Why is his hand up? He's going out for a goal kick. So what part of the linesman thinks, oh, his handball? Why would any player deliberately handball something or even have your hands up when it's going out for a goal kick? The only reason he's got his hands up there is because he's been pushed in the back and his balance is all off guard. It's the most. Do you know what? It makes my blood boil just thinking about it. I'd had a few days off not thinking about it, but now we're just talking about it all over again. It's just like it was the most bizarre. I was in the south of France watching it, so I got to see like replay after replay after replay. Yeah, Wrexham fans, if you're watching this because you seem to love our podcasts, you had a penalty before. We all totally agree with you, but it wasn't given. We move on. This one wasn't a penalty. So you're saying that one was a penalty. Does that mean you have to say it is a penalty just because you didn't get the one before? No, that's absolute horseshit. That last penalty on Smith, it's gone. It's done. That, you can't rewind play and go back. Or, well, unless you've got VAR. They seem to do that all the time, don't they? But that moment's gone. This next moment, it's not a penalty. So I'm not buying into this whole argument. Yes, you did have a penalty before. Well, you didn't because you didn't get one. So this one is just a blatant no penalty. It's just, I'll let someone else speak because I am about to go into full rage waggy mode here.
I just think that the ref also had a bit of a mare, considering, again, they should have had 2 red cards in about like the first 10 minutes. I mean, you got the challenge of Brad Hills, challenge on Calum Campsey. You've got absolutely everything. There should be red cards pulled. I mean, I think everybody in the first 10 minutes instantly thought, right, there's going to be a red card in this game. But they didn't think it was going to come to us. No way. I mean, that red that Brad Hills ended up getting, he's literally stood there. I mean, I'm sorry that you've just walked into a brick wall, but realistically, it's not a red, is it? There's no way.
I agree. At first, I was like, well, you can't be putting yourself in that kind of situation, but he didn't put himself in any situation. He literally didn't move. And the player went through, fell over, and I tell you what, Wrexham players need to work on balance, just like the Bolton players, because they must train in 0 windy days. Because when it comes to a football pitch, if there's a bit of a breeze, they just fall over all the time. So they really need to work on the balance a little bit more.
They also need to work on how to keep the ball on the floor. Don't do that much.
Imagine being a Wrexham fan and watching that week in, week out.
Oh yeah, it's awful, man.
Atrocious. Granted, we've lost the game.
Yeah.
Because they did better at it at the what do you call it?
Route 1.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You know, granted, they've won, we haven't. But it seems like they play like that every week.
Yeah, and that's what their manager does, Dunny Parky. You kind of got to sort of doff your cap to it a bit, and I'm not having somebody tickled up, getting a pat on the head here. On a pure footballing term, he sets these teams up to play like that and to be like that. I mean, we put in some tasty tackles as well, I think. So I think it was all set up for that, and it was feisty in the stands as well. When we were singing, they weren't until they scored. But that's generally what it is. I think that's not just Wrexham. It's that Parky ball which is effective, and they keep on getting these 1-0 wins. And we were just the latest victim of this 1-0 win, despite everything that went before it. I was just dead disappointed that we didn't show what we can do. We've kind of been doing this for the previous 3 or 4 games, haven't we? We huffed and puffed against Bolton and got the win. Didn't against Charlton. I can't remember the others that we played, but we haven't played well for a while. I don't think, like free intensity, our identity. We've not played that for a while. So I just think, and that's why I predicted. I think Richard Leggs put in the comments that I predicted a really tight game, and it going. I said they'd probably shit hours the way to it in the 97th minute. It wasn't the 97th minute, but they definitely shit hours the way to it. And fair play to them for that. John Billsbury's put a comment in. I just want to flash this one up. This is what annoyed me the most, really. It's not the mistaken decision. You can handle that because they're all match every match from National League North all the way to the bloody Premier League. It seems it's the way the officials were cowed by McLean's harangue. I like that. They were cowed by McLean's harangue. That's the name of the podcast, isn't it?
McLean's harangue.
I was going to say, I might understand that. Might understand that if I was more intelligent.
But it was that for me. So Ibby gets pushed in the back. Your arms go up because you probably. I agree with you, Ellis. I think he's appealing, and then he gives a corner, and then they have to have a discussion about it being handball. I just that doesn't sit right with me. But c'est la vie, innit?
It's just that I don't understand. Referee hasn't seen it, so he's given what the line has said, which is a corner. And then there's a discussion between McLean and the linesman, and then next minute the rest being called over. It's like, well, how can you give a corner? The linesman give a corner, and then all of a sudden think, yeah, actually, I forgot this could favour Wrexham. Shit. I'll call the referee over. what was the ref's name? I can't remember. Mr. Referee. Will you just send an apology to the Robin Ryan?
Careful, you're gonna get clipped here. You know, you're gonna get clipped.
Well, clip it all you want. Clip it all you want. At the end of the day, this podcast is for our fans. Full stop. But he changed his mind halfway through the whole thing. And I thought he was good. I thought he was going to book McLean because he was swearing and effing and jeffing. I thought, yes, he's going to book him because if you look at McLean's body language, it's almost like to say, "Oh, come on, I'm only trying to appeal for something." And then, but shocking. But penalty was given, nearly saved. There's still a lot of football to be played by us, and for me. We were great in midfield. I thought we dominated midfield, but it was just a bit clunky and sloppy up top for me. Nothing seemed to stick. And don't get me wrong, Wrexham did well to did what they do. They do defend well. They haven't conceded many this season. So I don't think we need to go on about it anymore, do we? I think it just makes our piss boil every time we think about it.
Anything else about the Wrexham match? I don't want to talk about the off-field thing. Looks like that's being dealt with. I don't even know what happened. But yeah, Ellis, anything else about the Wrexham match that caught your eye? You want to have a chat about?
I just think that liners and refs now were just complete shitbags. I mean, I'm sorry. The thing is that with being a ref and then being a liner is that you got to be stern on your decisions and try and not like change your mind halfway through it. And you can't end up having a player end up running up to you being like, nah, give us this, give us that, and then just going, oh, all right, I'll shit myself and then give it. Like, you can't do that. Come on, man. You've got to be stern in your decision. You've got to be right on it. Because, I mean, realistically, after the game, you're probably going to do an analysis on your performance anyway. So that's the time when you look and be like, right, have I got that wrong? Have I got that right? You can't just do it in the moment and just be like, oh, yeah, right, fair enough. I'll just change my decision. No, you can't.
No.
Yeah.
Agree. I've got a question, actually. Did you have a pie, Ellis?
I didn't, and the reason why is because the last ones that I had last year, obviously they've changed them now, which I've only just come to terms with now. I didn't because the last time that I went, they were utter trollop. They were awful. So I sort of thought that, right, they wouldn't have changed them, so there's no point really. But now I've heard that apparently they changed them and they're apparently all right. So I've missed out on that, haven't I?
Just go. Well, next time you go, get one.
Well, it depends if they change them again.
So do you want to just quick, before we move on to Burton, do you want to just quickly tell everybody about Ellis's Pie Review and where they can find you?
Ellis's Pie Reviews on TikTok only started 2 years ago. I actually made it when I was at Bradford away. Me mates came up with an idea of it and they were like, you know how you love pies so much? And I was like, yeah, of course. They were like, make a TikTok on it. I was like, no, could I get mugged off? And they were like, no, make one. And then obviously 2 years on, I'm here where I am, doing all right in it, so to say. My Bolton one didn't do very well, but again, hey ho, that's how it is. But yeah, TikTok Ellis's Pie Review. Most likely next one will be, when's our next away game actually? I can't remember now. Right, well that's a no. It might actually be in Spain when I go on my tournament with Stockport County Football Education.
Nice.
So I might be there. Have a bit of paella.
Pie.
Pie Ellis. Pie Ellis.
Oh,
there's the name for your.
What? Just one more thing on the pies. Sorry. What's your take on old county, new county pies?
Right. Here we go. The old ones, again, I don't think that you could get any better. I mean, you've seen it multiple times off different fan bases that have ended up coming to the ground saying that they're the fittest food that you could probably get at a ground. Now they've changed them. Don't get me wrong. When they changed them to the prison pies, I was sort of looking in my food trying to see if there was a razor blade. Obviously, luckily, didn't see that. I don't think that they're actually that bad. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the second one, they're not worth how much they actually are. I'm not going to say that they are. They're not worth as much as they are. But I don't think they needed as much of an outroar that they actually did get, because they're actually all right. Like, don't get me wrong. Just because they're made off like ex-prison convicts and all of that, right, doesn't mean that they're instantly going to be crap. They're actually pretty good.
I agree.
Yeah, but if you to kind of quote from a song, if you hadn't seen such riches, you could live with being poor. So you've had the best pie, and then they're giving you the as you put it, prison pie. It's brilliant.
That's a James song. That's a James song.
It's sort of good that you end up. It's sort of good that you end up explaining that, because my Pee-wee head wouldn't have actually have got that.
Yeah, it's a and there's a big county flag that Lee Flamer has it on it, because that's our little song. And at the end of County Live every match, that's the song they used to play at the end. Yep. There you go. Yeah, good. So, but just to put it out there, the Great North Pie Company, I think it is, isn't it? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
They still do the pies for corporate and things like that. They just don't do the en masse pies for the courtyard.
They also do it at Stockport Town as well.
Right.
Do it there as well. So.
Yeah. Fair dues. Good stuff. Right. Let's move on to Burton on Saturday then. Bit of a resurgence at Burton, isn't they? We'll go through some of the sort of results. Yeah, they have. They've not been too bad of late. They've picked up what I can see three wins in the last sort of 6 matches. They lost Wickham away, which is no disgrace, and Bolton at home again. Kind of expect them to do that. They beat fellow strugglers with Shrewsbury away, and they've got some players that you'd be surprised to be on their team. But I think they got a new manager, didn't they? And a bit of resurgence.
Gary Bowyer.
Yes. Gary Bowyer. So Claire's just mentioned this, and we spoke to her about it when we had a chat with Georgia Keane's dad, who is married to. Not Georgia Keane's dad's married to. Georgia Keane is married to Jordan Keane, ex-county player, and Georgia Keane's dad is Gary Bowyer. And she said to us, interesting fact, if you find this stuff interesting, that while Jordan and her have been at county, they've never played a team against Gary Bowyer. This will be the first time that it's ever come across. When did Jordan Keane sign? I want to say 2016, 2017, maybe something like that. Maybe a bit later. That's probably a bit later,
I think.
Yeah. So yeah. Ellis, what do you know about Burton?
Well, obviously they've ended up. I know that the Guinness is crap. I know that for a fact, considering me and my dad ended up having a massive recession about that. They've ended up signing Jack Stretton from us. Which I can already see it happening. At this point, I might as well just put 100 quid on him scoring against us. I can already see it. Right, it's just like something that would happen. But again, they've ever since they've started getting a few new players and stuff like that, they have been doing quite well. If I'm correct, they've got that Icelandic fella. I forgot what I think he came from Wrexham, was it?
Yeah,
was
Bob
Wrexham?
Barson.
Yeah. He's been doing well for them as well. So. I mean, 2 players to look out for when we're playing against them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of others to mention as well that we probably know as county fans. Elliot Watt, I think, still plays for them unless I'm mistaken. Danilo Orsi as well, Billy Bowden, and they got Max Crocombe in net. So you'll remember him. He used to play for Grimsby a lot when we played them. I think so. Yeah, I think it's one of those where it's 12:30 kickoff at home. Everybody in the ground is expecting A, a win, B, a reaction. Maybe not a reaction, a win, and a decent result. Is that? Oh, hang on a minute. I'm getting sorry. Orsi's back at MK Dons. I do apologise. He still appears on their squad list. So yeah. So what are you expecting? Are you expecting a easy win? What are you expecting?
Right. Well, I'm jumping in here. Sorry. With the whole Stretton thing, it's not happening. He's not scoring. It's no big secret that I wasn't his biggest fan. And I get the whole injury and the time thing, but for me, he was League 2, mid-table at best.
No, but do you think that if we actually gave him that time, do you really think that he could have actually sprung into something that we could have possibly used?
I know, but it goes back to Dave Challoner saying that when these players are called up for opportunity, it's their time to shine. And it just didn't. And I'm not saying that he had a load of run of games to get his confidence back or anything, but for me, it just didn't show. And I know we owe him a lot because of that goal against Salford, but there's this big argument saying, oh, a former player is going to score against us. It's bound to happen because he knows how we play. Yeah, we also know how he plays. And there's more of us that know how he plays rather than one person. Does that make sense? I've got a little bit of logic there.
Yeah, but the thing is that I can sort of counter that with us against Barrow. Because again, Ben Whitfield ended up going over to Barrow our first game of the season, and then we ended up getting beat 3-2. And we knew how we played. David knew how we played, but clearly we ended up getting beat from it because he knew how we played more than we actually knew how we did. Like, he knew us on the back of our hand. Like, that's the thing.
I think on this occasion, Ellis, me and you are going to have to agree to disagree.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, we'll see on Saturday, won't we? When you can buy me a pint. He won't score against us anyway because my prediction is just going for a really, I say confident. I'm not saying my optimism is sort of like shattered at all because with you saying obviously we need a reaction, we played pretty well on Saturday, didn't we? So
yeah,
I don't think that much of a reaction, and we were done by something completely out of our control. What was in our control was our sloppy work up top. So I don't think a reaction is needed as such, but I'm going to go for a 1-0. Normally I go like 3-1, 4-0. You know, you playing Burton, almost bottom of the league, but I think it'll be a 1-0 game for me. Okay.
Get your scores in on the chat. Yeah. What do you think, Ellis? Score wise, talk us through the game.
I mean, again, I think considering they're fighting to stay up, even though I do think that they are practically a League 2 side, I do think that. I do think they will come out and try and go for it. Because again, I mean, we've seen different things. I mean, we've seen Leyton Orient 4-1. We've seen Wycombe 5-0. I mean, again, I know that I'm naming higher up teams, but again, the lower ones have given us a decent go. I mean, an example of that was Shrewsbury at home. They gave us a very, very good go and held us and made us play their football. So I do think that Burton will try and make us play their football, but I do also think that we're going to get the best of them. So again, we are going to agree to disagree on it, but I will say Jack Stretton goal. I will say that for a fact. And then I'm also saying that we will win 3-1.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, yeah. Some scores coming through. 2-0. 2-0 Edward F. Ellis's dad 2-0. Edward F 2-0. Chris Crowther 2-1. So smart people, get your money on that because Chris gets this right every week. Not every week, but a lot of weeks. Dunko 1-0 Benno injury time. Yeah, don't forget Benno's back. Andy 3-0. County 1883. Tight 1-0. We do struggle to create chances. We do. I think we flattered to deceive on Saturday. I think with Charlie said it, didn't he? We know we were very good and in control without actually penetrating, which was what Louis Barry was very good at. Nick 10, frustrating 1-1. 3-1 Darren Bowden. Drew Robinson, oh God. 1-0 Burton. I was going to say Burton to score then. No, Stretton to score.
See, Andy, I'm not the only one.
Yeah, nervous 2-1 win, 2-0. And then the others, I'm just not going to read out because they're just one of them's just silly. I'm not even reading it out. And you know which one it is. Lucas Dyer says 0-0, just has that feeling. Someone's mentioned getting an early goal. I think that's probably right. And Liam Walker 3-1. So yeah, lots of people saying, well, we need the win, really, don't we? Don't read it out. It's not...
You are.
Don't read it out. It's a silly one.
Oh my days. Does it matter which way we're shooting? Nah,
yes,
let's not get into that. Do you know how many people, patrons, viewers, know that ping my phone when we win the toss and obviously we're shooting towards the Cheadle end second half? I must have about 100 messages on my phone from people I've met through the podcast to just go, oh, look, we're shooting Russ's way. You know, not shooting at the Cheadle end, we're shooting Russ's way.
I mean, in some cases, I'm going to disagree with that because, again, when we played against Sutton, most of our goals ended up coming from the other side.
Yeah, but that was a non-event, wasn't it? We were beating Sutton as soon as we scored.
It might have been a non-event, but it doesn't matter. We still scored on the other side more times than we did in Cheadle.
No, so the point of it is, right, if we're shooting in the second half, we're shooting towards the Cheadle end, and it matters, and we say we're 1-0 down at half time, and we're shooting towards the Cheadle end in the second half. I think we've got a better chance because the crowd are behind the goal, and that's where all the noise is made. Gets the team up.
No, hang on. You've changed the goalpost now. You've changed it. You've just added a key word into that sentence.
What?
When it matters.
And it did say that to
Sure. No, I thought the whole thing was we always win when we shoot towards because the crowd.
No. Because that's not factually correct, is it? We don't always win when we shoot towards the Cheadle end. And I know that. I've seen us when we have shot towards the Cheadle end in the second half and we haven't won. What I'm saying is it gives you, I think it gives us a better chance.
It gives you hope. That's what you're saying.
Well, it's because...
Ellis is right. It's more of a hope thing, isn't it, than a... Like, it doesn't matter what we do as fans, because don't forget, we've got all four, you know, we're all around the ground. I'm still not buying it.
It's actually 5,000 in the Cheadle end, isn't it? Anyway,
we're going to shoot towards the Cheadle end first half on Saturday, and we're going to score in the railway end and win the game. And then all those people that have texted me since I've disagreed with Russ, I want a text back saying, "Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Andy."
If it doesn't matter, why do they turn us around?
Because they're boring.
Anyway, let's move on. By the way, as well, I think the early kickoffs kill it because the courtyard's just empty, isn't it? It's better getting a pint, but it's just empty.
Yeah. I hate it. I absolutely hate them. I can't. I forgot again. I forgot.
No, you did, yeah. I had to remind you the other day, didn't I?
I know. I was like, I said to Ian, right?
I saw Andy the other day, and I went 11:30 in the courtyard, and he went a bit early in it. I went, well, it's half 12 kickoff. Is it?
Well, why have we got another 12:30 kickoff? It's like, don't get me wrong, I'll still have a few beers, but I can't go home like three sheets. I can't go home 3 sheets to the window at 2:30 in the afternoon. I know.
Saturday day drinking. Not wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah, but when you anyway.
Yeah. Right. So season ticket chat then. Let's move on from Burton. Someone did ask us to bring this up, so I thought, yeah, pretty good. It's coming up to the end of the season now. What is it? 8 games to go. Usually depends what sort of financial position the club's in. Season tickets start to be spoken of. And I think they've held back on it recently, haven't they? But the particular thing was about season tickets and having some sort of payment plan for it. Now, Ellis, you won't remember this because you're young, but Andy, you probably will. Don't know if you remember in the 90s, Andy, when they had monthly payments for season tickets. Do you remember that? I know we definitely did it.
Don't you bear in mind, my first game was against West Ham, the Indawi goal.
Well, yeah, it was only. I think it was only 2 seasons before that. I remember my mum and my stepdad having to do that for us because we couldn't afford it outright. So,
I didn't have had any sort of season ticket then. It was just a case of get a ticket whenever. A lot of them were through the schools anyway, or whenever they introduced that. I don't even know. But yeah, I've had a few conversations with fans this week about the whole, you know, and there is two sides to the argument, because if they do a payment plan and we end up having a shit season, say we get promoted to the Championship,
Yeah.
and it's a relegation dogfight, and we're sitting bottom. By the way, I'm not saying this would ever happen, because I do believe we'll sustain in the Championship next season if we go up. But in hindsight, let's say we're bottom at Christmas, 10 points adrift. Are people just going to say, nah, I can spend my money elsewhere? You know, is there some sort of like legal contract to say, yes, you can pay in installments, but you can't quit it. You still have to owe us that. You know, could they do that? I don't know. How does it work?
Yeah, again, it's probably that kind of thing is probably County probably thinking that's too much trouble. You know, unless you can do maybe like Klarna. Klarna's a payment thing at the moment, isn't it? Where you can pay in 2 or 3 installments. Yeah. But maybe you could pay for that before the season starts, perhaps, or before the first home game. And then you've paid it off then, and at least the club know then that they've got that, and they could refuse your entry digitally if you didn't. But I just think it's a bit of a minefield, to be honest, for the club.
It's messy. It's messy. And one thing I will say is that they could maybe, because I know a couple of people last year that didn't renew because it was like a 3-week turnaround before you had to renew, if I'm right. And it was like, well, you know, it's right before payday. I get the whole argument. You've got, you know, it's coming throughout the whole year, so you can just put a little bit aside. But some people don't have that opportunity to put that amount of money each side a week. So they could maybe just do like 2 payments in, say, you know, June, July, but have it paid off before August. So you've got that little bit of leeway. And then if you don't pay off by August, they cancel it.
Yeah, and you could save up for the year, couldn't you? If you were sort of really short, I guess, you know. It's difficult because you got to cater for everybody. I mean, Ellis is sat here wondering what we're talking about because Bank of Dad pays for everything for Ellis.
Exactly. So I don't need to worry about any of that.
Yeah, your dad does though.
Oh yeah, of course he does. Yeah. But I mean, again, I'm just sat there like, yeah, well, yeah, you're paying season ticket. Sound okay. I mean, next year is going to be a bit different because, again, I mean, I think I still qualify for the junior one, but again, I'll still have to obviously put money in for away days and stuff like that. So
yeah,
different story. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple of comments coming through. Read some of these out. So Tom Cat Sports Vid says, doesn't need to be direct debit managed by the club. Could use a reliable funding company. Yeah, court, yeah. And what they could chase the debt if it's unpaid, that kind of thing. And then Edward F says, if the club wants to offer 3 to 6 month payment options, then they could do that. And they have a new ticket supply coming this season. Yeah, they do. And a new website and a mobile app's coming soon as well. I wonder if all that's going to be geared up for next season. That's interesting. Feels like something's happening in that space. We'd like to know what's happening with the building of the Danny Begara stand, though, wouldn't we? And all that kind of stuff. So,
just going back to the season ticket thing, because if they did like a 12 or 8 month during the season breakdown, they could charge more for a season ticket because the chances are more people will still renew or more people would still get a season ticket, even if they are upping the prices because it's broken down into a monthly or quarterly or what have you.
Yeah. Would you not have to pay interest on that though as well? So you're going to have to...
Well, you would, but that's unlike any other loan, isn't it? So if you get any loan from anywhere, you're going to have to, you know, even if you get like your car insurance, you pay in full, you get a bit of a discount compared to your monthly repayments. Yeah. So for me, I think it's messy, but if there's a correct structure or strategy in place that enables it to work, then yeah, bring it on because more people will be able to benefit from a season ticket spread over the course of a season.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. One final thing on this. Claire Jeff says season tickets are sold out though, so I guess they don't need to. Yeah. Depends how left-leaning you are for that, I think. Because some might say, well, you know, people can't buy season tickets because they can't afford the outrights. That doesn't mean to say they shouldn't have the opportunity to buy a season ticket. So there's probably that
there's
argument.
also the fact that the people that already still have a season ticket that beg, borrowed and steal to get that season ticket.
Yeah.
So it would still help out those people that currently have a season ticket. You know, just I'm not disagreeing with you solely, Claire. I apologise, but just because you already have a season ticket doesn't mean you were able to afford it in that 3-week window or 4-week window that they gave you.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, though, isn't it? I mean, this kind of floats my boat, this kind of thing, sadly. I could, if I had all the figures in front of me, could talk about it all night, but we're not going to, luckily for you, Ellis.
And me.
Sitting there listening to all this, it's just like going in through one ear and out the other, because none of this actually applies to me in some cases.
No, but it will eventually. It will eventually.
Yeah, it will eventually. That's when I end up asking. That's when I probably end up asking for more money, but who knows?
Before we talk about Benno's brace and Get In't Rezzers, a few things just to mention. We've mentioned it already. We held the Mike Flynn event that was upstairs in the Armoury on Monday night. How many was he, Andy? About 50 people? 40, 50 people?
No, it was about 45 people.
Yeah.
And then me and you holding the fort. And actually, whilst we're on that, can I just say a thank you to Ian and Lauren, who Lauren's been on the podcast a few times, and Ian's no secret. Yes, I'm 42, nearly 43, and I still have a best mate. He is my best mate. But they came down, helped out, and yeah, it's brilliant because it was only me and Russ, and it does take a lot of organising. So thank you to the two of you. And thank you as well to Pete and Holly, landlord and landlady at the Armoury. Absolute brilliant. You know, they just looked after us from start to finish. Even, you know, letting Flinny pour a pint of Robbie's bitter. It was just a brilliant night, and thank you everyone for coming. Yeah, absolutely. And we will be doing more in the near future. So if you want to get first refusal to come to those, become a Patreon member. That's the best way to do that. And then the actual events are free. You just got to turn up, really. Depends, you know, and we'll tell you where it is. Excellent stuff. Edgeley Conservative Club coaches, they're running coaches to all of the away games. I think Exeter might be up already, actually. On the site. But yeah, have a look at those and get yourself on there. And I think you get a discount if you're a co-op member on the club coaches, Edgeley Club coaches. We're going to do February's giveaway tomorrow evening. And that's going to be a bucket hat that I haven't got a picture of.
Should have entered.
Well, you're not a Patreon member. It's only for Patreon members.
That's it. Love bucket hats, me.
Oh, just go and see Banker Dad and see if they'll sign you up to be a patron.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, to be fair, it might be able to hide this absolute disgrace of a barnet that I have, but who knows?
So we're going to do that tomorrow. So it's a custom-made bucket hat, and it's made by somebody who makes these things and stitches them together. And it's 3 shirts, 3 home, well, one of the home, away, and third shirts from last season. I think it was last season. So that was good. So we'll do that tomorrow, and then we'll do the March giveaway fairly shortly after that. Need to sort that out. And a reminder, again, remind you every time, Dave Thompson, Steve Cunningham, Jay Redding, and a couple of others are walking from Peterborough to Stockport. And welcome to Leon Ryder as well. I had a chat with him in the ground on Saturday. He walked from Stockport to Wrexham to raise charity, money for charity. So yeah, brilliant.
That is brilliant. It is brilliant. And on that as well, sorry to steal that chap's thunder, but just to put into perspective how tough this walk is going to be from Peterborough back, Jamie, my brother, for training, walks from his house to Wrexham as part of his training. It's like 25 5 miles. It's like
more than
they're gonna
that.
have to be doing it. Well,
Yeah.
he lives in. He
He does lives on the
Yeah.
Wirral, doesn't he? Yeah, fair dues. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Wirral, Liverpool. Is it not the same thing? I don't know.
I can barely be bothered walking up my stairs.
Sorry, final thing, just been reminded by John, thank you very much. Lou's funeral from the Finger Post coaches. His is next Wednesday, 1:30 at Stockport Creme. Pretty sure that'll be going past Edgeley Park. So you're probably going to, if you want to pay your respects, it'll be going past Edgeley Park, I would think. There we go. Right. Very quickly on Benno. It is Benno, isn't it? Liam Walker's just put in the comments, it's Benny, not Benno. You see, I thought it was. I don't know whether it's Brecky, Benny, or Benno these days, or Anderson. What do we say? Is it Benno?
I'm just going to say Anderson because it seems to get corrected by. But if I say Anderson, it gets corrected by everybody, and it just seems to be normal life for people correcting my spelling and grammar. So,
sorry, just to come in. Lou Spalding, isn't it? I think Lou's Lou's cortege goes to Edgeley Park at 12:45. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure he said it's just call me Benno.
I'm not sure. I just call him the bloke from Iceland.
Fair dues.
Simple, innit?
Just going back, actually, Andy, you are correct. I did actually steal that chap's thunder. So apologies. I'm not taking away. That was a brilliant effort for anyone, which I know, to get up off the couch and walk that many miles. So what was his name, Russ? Sorry. The guy who walked from Liam Ryder. Yeah.
Good lad. Had a good chat with him on Saturday. So yeah, I mean, there's not really much to talk about here, apart from the fact that Brecky, I'm going to call him Brecky because that's one of his names. I think it's his first name. He played 2 friendlies, both at Pinatar, weirdly enough. One against Hungary, I think it was, and one against Scotland under 21s. Hungary one, he got brought off at half time because he picked up a slight knock, and then played in the 3-0 win against Scotland under 21s and scored twice. And if you've seen the goals, I think Chris Eaton has shared them. Pretty good goals. Both really good goals, to be fair.
Well, the first one is kind of similar, but on the opposite side to the winner. I know the first one he got for us. And then the second one I thought was better. It's just like a little flick, wasn't it? It's like, yeah. But the guy knows how to score, and we know this.
Yeah.
And this little goals got not little goals on an international level are only going to do this chap's confidence sky high.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, it was 3-0 at half time. Gazendo's corrected me. It's 6-1 in full time. Yeah, but he scored a couple. Ellis, did you see the goals?
I did end up seeing the goals eventually. They were pretty good finishes. I mean, again with the keeping work, I don't really know what he was doing. I mean, take it as you wish, but I think he should have done better with both of them. But I think he's doing well. I mean, if he ends up bringing the way how he plays for Iceland for us, who knows? We could have a cracking player on our hands.
Yeah, I've got this feeling he's going to outgrow us pretty quickly. Once he gets going, once he gets up to match fitness, and like you say, Andy, I think he's going to unlock. He's going to unlock a lot of those issues that we've got up top.
Yep.
Because he can just score different goals, can't he? So, yeah. So it's looking good for Brecky / Benno / Benny / Anderson.
There's a song in there, surely, isn't there? And I know we've got the thunderclap. But surely, don't go break my heart, my achy, brecky heart. Surely, that's
somebody's already put. I'm sure Penno draws. He likes to pen a bit of a chant. None of them have ever taken off, but I don't think so anyway. But he did a achy, brecky heart. What about Benno, Brecky, Benny, Anderson? You'll never sing that.
Don't quit your day job, Russ.
No,
that's tragic.
I'm still trying to catch up. Well, just What?
Yeah,
No.
I'm not going to. If I need to explain it, let's just move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Get In't Rezzers. Shall we?
he looks happy. He looks happy down there, doesn't he? Hey.
Get in your rezzers. Come on, get in rezzers.
Get In't
Come on,
Rezzers.
get in rezzers.
That's rubbish. Get in rezzers.
I'm not having that. Get in rezzers.
Right, Ellis. I think you've got one, haven't you?
Now, I have got one. So, picture this. You're on an away day. You're nice and happy. You walk into the ground. You're looking at the team sheet, everything like that. You go up, get yourself a nice pie. First thing that you witness, pucker pie warmers and that sweaty piece of rubbish in a plastic wrapper you call a pucker pie. That's definitely getting thrown in the rezzers.
So pucker pies, basically.
Yeah, pucker pies in the rezzers. It's just a cop out. Realistically, you have multiple other good pie companies, and then you just decide to go, oh yeah, why not? Let's go for this piece of shite in a bag. It's just not really right, is it? I mean, if I wanted that, then I might as well just go over to my dog, clean up some of his crap, and then have that for a pie.
Jesus. Whoa, don't hold back here.
I will go that far, considering pucker pies are awful. They're just not right.
Have you ever had a Frey is it Frey Bentos? The ones in the tin?
Yeah.
I like him, mate.
I like him. Yeah, I like him. Yeah, it can go in the rezzers, definitely, because I think they're shit now. But I remember in the 90s going away with County, certainly going to Rotherham. I don't know what it was about Rotherham, but we had him away at Rotherham, and they were lovely at the time. I was only 15, 16, so but you're obviously, Ellis, your palate, your taste buds and palate are a lot more advanced than mine. When I was that age.
Well, yeah,
because a pie to us, Ross, at a football game was like a real treat.
Yeah,
now
of course.
It's just a norm to have a pie at a football match.
Well, yeah, pucker pies are just not right. They're just crap.
Fair dues. I suppose a part of that is because they're in the bag. I don't what is that what it is, or
well, I think the second you open them, you just feel all the wetness that's going onto the pie straight away with all the condensation. You're like, right, well, first off, I've opened it and it's soggy, right? No one wants a soggy pie, right? Then you take it out, you go in to have a bite, and then it just crumbles all the way down. It's like, mate, I'm not eating a flip flop here, am I? It just isn't right. It's crap.
Fair dues. Got Edward F here saying nothing wrong with a pucker pie. Doesn't know what he's talking about.
No. I'll argue for this.
Old world lad. Soggy pies are a war crime. In fairness, yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, cool. Andy, have you got one?
Yeah. Two. I've got. So the first one is the football. It literally is the liner on Saturday. It's just. I'm sorry, but what a absolute dick.
Shitbag.
Yeah, just the whole McLean thing is.
We've gone back full circle there, haven't we?
No. I get this, right, but I try not to go over the top before. I probably did though. But the whole McLean thing, right? It's just doing what every single footballer does, trying to claim something that either he forgets about the push and only sees the hand. And there was a comment before, and I agree. I thought Toure was already out of play when it hit his hand, because I remember Dan saying something on our group, and I was like, no, it was already out of play. But McLean, don't get me wrong, I'm not his biggest fan, but he's only doing what every player does in situations like this. So McLean's just carrying on with it. It's the liner. The referee is none the wiser. He's seen the flag go for a corner. He's given a corner. So the ref's moved out of the equation. But if you've got a liner telling a referee it's definitely a penalty, then the referee has to go with, because he doesn't know, he has to go with the liner. But then if the referee, you'd be thinking, well, hang on a minute, you've just given a corner. So which one is it? It just so it's the line. The line had created all that. McLean, yeah, all right, yeah, he had his hand in it, but every player has the hand in it when it comes to a critical decision like that. So my football related one is the linesman on Saturday.
Fair news. We've got a few coming in on the chat. I've just put up the Steve Woodbridge agrees with you on that about that. They're all Wrexham related, I think. So let's go through them. The guy you have on from the Wrexham podcast can get in the Rezzers absolute melt. I think you're talking about. I liked him. I'm not gonna lie. He's a good lad. Getting Rezzers Wrexham podcast whinging about county podcasts, and John Billsbury agrees with you as well on that one. Yeah. But me personally, I've got loads to put in the Rezzers this week, and it's all to do with the amount of messages we've had and retweets and replies that we've had. Considering when we're the ones forcing a rivalry, they've come at us with I don't know how many messages to tell us that. And it's like, hang on a minute, calm yourself down. But I've got to admit, I love it. I love all that because it just sort of adds to the whole like experience, doesn't it, of being a football fan. I think my getting the Rezzers is this thing, and a few people have put it into the comments as well. It's this thing of coming onto watching a county podcast and expecting us not to be biased towards county. Of course we are. Even the most rational and level-headed person's gonna be slightly biased towards theirs, aren't they? And the other podcasts as well, and other areas and other people, and people have people who are big on stuff, tweeting that and messaging it. I just think you can get in the Rezzers, mate. I'm not having that. Don't be coming wanting to be friends. That you don't even know us and that kind of thing. So yeah, all a bit weird for me. There's quite a few more. A couple of James McLean's. £10 for the car park. Yeah. £10 for the car park, definitely.
I think I've got another one. That's it. Obviously, you've got the old situation with Reading, with Dai Young. So Dai Young can obviously get in the Rezzers.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's ended up going for Hull, not past it, going to Reading, wanting to buy Reading, somehow passed it, and now obviously they're in the state that they're in now, possibly being moved from the EFL, which is obviously a big problem with it. But yeah, I think he can get in the Rezzers as well, because no football fan should go through what they're currently going through right now.
No.
Again, we've gone through going into administration as well, and obviously it weren't pretty in the slightest. They've got they're now in it, and they've been in it for a while, and now it's time for them to change it, because currently it just feels like they're being backstabbed by the EFL.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and yeah, totally right. I mean, listening to the Price of Football podcast, which I do, he's put into the tune of nearly 200 million quid into that club, and he's completely messed it up. Unbelievable it is. It's yeah, and they've got till something like April the 6th, haven't they, to find a buyer. I'm not even sure that's enough time to get an answer from an email in these days. It's just bonkers. And then what division do they go to if it all goes tits up for them? It's yeah, well said, mate. Well said.
I agree. Nobody wants, no matter what hatred or rivalry or anything at all, nobody wants to see this, especially because we know. All right, it's not actually happened to us, but we've been very, very close, and we know how dark it can get. So, even if you were the most hated team in football, no one would want to see that happen to your club. It's just horrible, horrible. So, good shout, Ellis.
Yeah, cracking shout. And Andy, what is your Football.
Right. It probably stems from me doing my food shop today in Lidl. Nothing to do with the supermarket or me going in. It's the arrogant prick who watched me wait in the car for him to do a 58-point maneuver to get out of his car parking space, to then just do it and drive off without even thanking me. Now, what? And you see it all the time, don't you? That you actually stop and you let somebody out and they just drive out. And you're like, it takes literally a second to either wave or put your hazards on or do that little left to right thank you. It just baffles me that people are so ignorant that they can't just thank you. I hate it. So that guy in Lidl today, you're a prick.
Apparently it was Gazendo apologising for it.
It wasn't. Not unless you dyed your hair, Gazando.
And then I've got one final Get In't Rezzers all the way from Spain. Dave Moore messaged me separately to say that the chap who did the review of our review, the Australian chap who knows nothing about football, clearly, he can get in the Rezzers. And if you've watched that, I wouldn't bother because you're just increasing his numbers. But basically, he had a go at us for trying to create a rivalry and then called it a derby throughout his little video.
But it is a rivalry. It is a rivalry.
Calm down, you're forcing it.
I know you careful.
No, I'm going to carry on here, right? The only people that don't see it as a rivalry is Wrexham fans. But even their owners call it a rivalry. Their own manager in his own interview say, it's a nice little, rivalry we've got going on since the early days that we, rising through the leagues. What does it matter if there is a rivalry? They're trying so hard for it not to be that it's actually looking pretty bad. It's a rivalry. It will be a rivalry when we finish above you.
That's not happening.
Why?
No, it's too far ahead, aren't they?
What? How many points ahead are they, Russ?
9.
Right.
With 8 games to go. They're not dropping that many points.
So why?
Because
I'm telling you now.
No, they're not going to drop that many points. It's between Wickham and Wrexham, I think, now.
Do you want to bet now on air?
I don't bet. Not with the likes of you, anyway. No, I just don't bet. I just don't bet.
The likes of me? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I beneath you, Russ?
Well, I mean, I've got Wrexham's fixtures up here, and then they have Charlton, Lincoln, and Blackpool at the end of the season. I can't see him dropping points against Cambridge, Burton, Bristol, possibly. Again, we dropped points against them when we went their place. But again, I think the only 2 games where I can actually see them realistically dropping points is Charlton and Lincoln.
Yeah, but you say this, that if they lose those 2 games, it will be squeaky bum time. So it's all about reaction. So they all have to.
Of course it will. Sorry, but let's not have this. It's not a Wrexham podcast, this, right? So it's not just about the reason why I'm saying we're not going to get a second. It's not just about Wrexham. They've got to drop points. Wickham have got to drop points. We've got to hope that Charlton don't continue their good form because they look pretty strong. I know they got beat the other day 3-0 or something, but overall they look pretty strong form wise. Something's got to change for us. We've got to go on a mad 8-game winning streak if we're going to do it. It's not beyond us because we've done it before, but I just think maybe it feels like the season we got to the playoff final in League 2. It was just a bit of a stretch for us.
Yep.
Yeah, fair enough. But I still can't wait for the end of the season. I'm going to be like that.
I would be loving it. So yeah. And it does appear that we have a Wrexham fan in the comments. So yeah, loads of subscribers tonight. Actually, it's been totting up quite nicely. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe to us. That's really cool. Yes, Ellis, cheers for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. I've not forgotten anything, have I, Andy? Off my list, off your list.
No, you've done well tonight, mate. You've done well.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Ellis, you enjoyed yourself, mate?
Yep, of course I have. I mean, again, first night on here, and then hopefully a few more. Who knows? But yeah, I've enjoyed doing it.
Nice. And do check out Ellis's pie reviews as well, on TikTok.
Just one final thing, Russ. Do you miss Waggy?
Yeah.
I feel like I've not seen him for ages, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, we just forgot to mention, didn't we? Waggy's not here because he's working. He's in Sweden still working. He's not here. I don't even know why I didn't mention that. That's a bit bad, isn't it? It's almost like I'm not bothered. I am bothered. Waggy's not here. He's in Sweden. There we go.
Yeah. It's just hard to. He's not as frequent on the chat and stuff, is he? Because he's working away in like 15 inches of snow. But yeah. I'm sure he'll be back soon.
I'm sure he'll be back Saturday. We'll find out. Right, Andy. See you on the courtyard on Saturday. Probably you as well, Ellis.
Yep, probably.
Early doors. Cheers to everybody for watching and listening.
Thank
Courtyard
you.
Club Call will be out on Monday, despite everything that's gone on, and we can pretty much guarantee 100%. In fact, I will guarantee that Jimmy will not be wearing a Wrexham scarf, and there will be no opposition shirts visible. Cheers, everybody. Thank you. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Scarf Bagara War. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Remember, you can catch us every week on your favourite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. And a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. Your contributions help keep the show running to bring the content you love. If you'd like to support the podcast and get access to exclusive special guest episodes, ad-free podcasts, and a monthly giveaway, head over to patreon.com/the Scarf Bagara War. And don't forget to follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content, and more. You can find us on X, Facebook, and Instagram, all at County Podcast. Lastly, if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review and share it with your fellow County fans. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Scarf Bagara War. Come on, County!